This is the Stormie Willow podcast, a lighthearted, balanced examination of the paranormal. How do you do, and welcome to our brood. I'm your host, Adele, and don't feed her after midnight, Sarah.
That's the truth.
And we got special guest, our mom, Sandy.
That's right.
Because Sarah, at 42 years old, still can't stay at home alone.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And if you're new to the show, welcome. We are your paranormal sisters. We bring you booger news, astrology forecast for your week ahead, and a headline paranormal story.
Yeah, we do. Hello, everybody. What an eventful weekend we're coming off of.
It's been a week.
Richard Simmons passing.
Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, Shelley Duvall and
Shannon Doherty as of this morning.
Yes.
Is it Doherty or Doherty?
Doherty.
Or you could call her Brenda, from those that know her from 90210.
And I had just seen like a post from some sort of like, I don't know, like convention where she and the 90210 crew were going to do like an autograph signing, like in just the next couple of days.
So her death was unexpected?
Well, I know she had battled cancer for a really long time, and I think it kind of came back with a vengeance. So just, I don't know, it's been rough. And Mom whispered in my ear, "Don't forget Donald Trump." So yeah, like that happened too. So it's been a crazy few days, and I don't think I predicted this. Yeah, it's definitely some scary times, and not that we're not going to get heavy and political here, but I think we all agree that it is scary. No matter what side of the fence you're on. But I'm sure you're probably on our side if you listen to the show. But in case you don't, that's okay. It's still not a good thing when people get shot at. So, yeah.
Like a lot going on this week. But it's also Watermelon Month, so there's that.
Watermelon Month. Well, Mom and I had a delicious watermelon last night, so at a pool party.
I like to hear
What is this pool party?
Listen, Mom and I are real popular in the community, as you know. And
sunglasses for this, my birthday glasses.
Oh, well, look at you.
That's the birthday glasses.
Well, so Mom and I's workout group, where we also read books, we work out. What else do? We have pool parties.
Right, we make Juliet fries.
We do it all. So we had our annual summer party, our pool party last night.
At like what, the complex?
No, listen, we have friends that have pools now, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We didn't have like a party at like the complex or the YMCA. Like we actually have friends that have pools, we have connections.
I mean, back in the day, a pool party with an ice cream cake, that's an epic party.
That was pretty much all of our parties.
Yeah, like complex, check.
Yeah.
Ice cream cake, check.
Done.
Laser tag.
Done.
Little Caesar shitty pizza, check.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. But no, we had a good time. It was really hot yesterday too, so we were really glad to get in the water, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I've been trying to rest and rehab my hip. So I missed the beer mile run they had. That was pretty fun. Like you had to like chug a beer, run a quarter of a mile, chug a beer.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah. I just wanted to be a part.
Why don't they just call it the puke run?
The puke run.
Puke run. That's pretty much what.
But yeah, Mom and I are having a really good weekend.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Now we're here, all gathered up to hear
a tale.
Yeah, this is the way to end on a high with Stormie Willow.
That's right.
But before we get into that, I have some booger news.
I know you do. Let's hear it.
Okay, I have two.
Yes.
And they're kind of related because it's kind of the same thing, summertime fun time.
Yeah,
out
it is.
In the water.
Oh no.
Make sure you don't fall asleep in the water.
Oh no.
And don't worry, these aren't dark. They aren't that dark. All right, so I was checking out Oddity Central, and there were two fun stories about people falling asleep in the water. But don't worry, they don't perish.
Okay.
All right, the first one.
We can't take too much more.
Reassuring.
Yeah, I figured, it's been a rough week. I'm not gonna make it even rougher.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one up: man falls asleep on rubber ring, drifts into the open sea for 19 hours. So this man is on like I mean, it kind of is watermelon looking, like a colorful like ring, like the inner.
That you just kind of float around in.
Yeah, not like the
On.
professional like inner tubes, just like a shitty Walmart inner tube.
That you would take to the local pool or the shallow part of the ocean.
Or Myrtle Beach. You'd probably pick this up at
That's
Wings.
what I was thinking, like Myrtle Beach.
Eagles. Yeah.
Gotta get
yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
The 2 little handles.
Yeah.
Donut. All right, so a 58-year-old man can consider himself lucky to be alive after being found by a fishing boat floating on a rainbow-colored swimming ring a few miles from the coast of Taiwan.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, I think this happened closer to that region. I don't think he drifted that far.
Okay. I'm thinking like from Myrtle Beach. I'm like,
I don't think he went from like Florida Panhandle.
Okay, because I'm
like
sitting here thinking like, now that is a good float.
And so that's impressive to cover that much ground in 19 hours.
I was like, whoa, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, so
those floats.
on July 7th, so this was recent, it was just like last week. On July 7th.
You had a fun for.
Seriously. I mean, he had a little too much fun. On July 7th, the Wanli Princess 168, a fishing boat heading toward the port of New Taipei, spotted something strange in the water a few miles from the shoreline. As the boat approached the strange object, it became apparent that it was a topless man in a colorful swim ring, the kind kids use at the beach. In a clip that has since gone viral online, the crew can be seen throwing the stranded man a life buoy and then pulling him into the boat before taking him back to port and calling emergency services. Although visibly weak and dehydrated, the 58-year-old man appeared in good health, which was a bit surprising considering that he had been drifting in this colorful swim ring for 19 hours before being miraculously spotted by the fishing boat. He told rescuers that he had found himself in a bizarre predicament after jumping into the waters of New Taipei with a swim ring for a cool-off after a hot day at work. He had had a few drinks as well.
Of course.
And the sway of the sea allegedly caused him to fall into a deep sleep while relaxing. He recalls going into the water at around 6 or 7 in the evening on July 6th, only to wake up hours later in the open sea, far away from shore.
Oh my god.
The Taiwanese man claims that he tried shouting for help, but he was too far out into the sea for anyone to hear him, so he just drifted on.
What a great one.
Throughout the
That's
night.
what I'm thinking.
He just drifted on throughout the night and into the next day until he was spotted by this boat.
I mean, he got lucky, man.
But yeah, you can see, I think I saw this even on TikTok, but he like comes out of the water, but he keeps the damn floaty ring. He like holds he doesn't just leave that in the ocean.
No, I don't blame you. Yeah, don't pollute the ocean with your floaty ring.
And like they're bonded at this point. I love how they keep calling it a colorful
floaty ring.
Like that's hilarious.
Yeah,
but I mean, anything could have happened to him. Like, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, did his family report him missing? I wonder. And like, you idiot.
I don't even think he was gone long enough, but almost, right? People are probably like, did he not come home?
Like, he did it again. He did it again.
Floaty ring fiasco. Let's go out.
The floaty ring. So, I mean, yeah, it seems like nothing bothered him, which is just crazy because I always feel like if you go past like head level, sharks are just waiting for you.
Yeah, especially with climate change and stuff. You know, they're coming so far inland here in America. Like, you know, they're getting people that are like ankle deep.
They like come to the shore.
And this guy's out there. Maybe he's like they're coming all in.
I'm gonna go out.
Past them. So he's like, this is where it's at. He might be.
You just got to get past the barrier of sharks.
You got to get past the sharks, and then you're fine.
And then you're too deep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these people are out there like crabbing or like, you know, fishing for tuna and grab him up too. Like,
dude on a floaty ring.
I keep thinking about Forrest Gump, but like they're opening the nets and all the fish, like the shrimp come out and like here he comes. Like, it's
floaty ring. Like, sliding.
How did I get here?
Hey guys.
What kept you?
Well, that's quite a story.
Yeah.
Wow.
And another quick one also from Oddity Central. It's like, what are the odds? This one was last month, but still, floating corpse in rural pond turns out to be a napping man. He's
What kind of man?
another
A
person
nappy.
falling
Another
asleep
napper.
in the water.
Let's not take naps in the water, folks.
Yeah, so the resident of an Indian village recently called the police about a floating human body in their pond, but it turned out to be a man taking a nap and cooling off on a hot summer day. Yeah, to their credit, like this village in India didn't immediately panic and call for police when they noticed a motionless human body in their pond.
Oh, that's scary.
They tried calling out to it when they first spotted it around 7 a.m., but they got no answer. And seeing as the body didn't move until 12 p.m., they finally decided to call the authorities. The police unit and emergency service rushed to the scene when they indeed discovered a human body floating in the water. Only what looked like a corpse turned out to be an inebriated man napping in the water after a grueling 10-day work stint.
Get out of here.
So the guy was just tired.
I can't even imagine.
I mean, both folks got very lucky. Very lucky.
So I'm just saying, people say, be careful with around water and alcohol and being tired, but obviously every case isn't always a tragedy. So
I mean,
close calls all around this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that forecasted in the last week? Was there any forecast along those lines?
No,
Psychic forecast?
No, we nothing like that. So
we don't go that deep.
Surprise, but Adele's going to tell us. Okay, Adele's going to tell us what we're about to get into this week. I don't know if we want to know. I don't know if we can take it anymore, Adele.
Yeah, buckle up, folks. It's going to
be. I can't.
All right. Okay. Yeah, let's get into the astrological forecast for July.
Mom left. She couldn't even deal. She's later.
She's like, I can't even listen to it.
She's like, I don't even want to know. So bye.
Yeah, so this is coming at you from stylecaster.com, so buckle up, folks. This week's astrological forecast is a wild ride.
Oh, shit.
All right, so July 14th, today, Sunday, stormy skies with a side of drama. Okay.
Well, that's something up.
The moon is in Scorpio, so emotional intensity reaches a boiling point. And the Scorpio moon squares off with Pluto retrograde and Venus in Leo. So this means drama. Unmet desires and unheard concerns create a tempest in your teapot.
Oh, not a tempest in the teapot.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either, but I don't think I like it.
Yeah, so expect a disconnect between wants, needs, and secret motives.
Well, shit.
It's like a soap opera, but with more feelings. That's going to be today.
I can't even imagine. Okay, that's today?
That's today.
Right. Let's see. It's 5 o'clock, so I've dodged that so far.
Yeah, maybe we were a little bit early yesterday. I don't know. Yesterday is a little theatrical.
Yesterday was very theatrical.
Okay. Well, the energy's in the air for sure. Drama.
Yeah.
So maybe more of that. If you weren't directly affected, maybe grab your popcorn. Sounds like more crap might go down in the next 24 hours.
Oh no.
July 15th, we have lightning strikes and plot twists. So that's going to be even more fun. We have Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus, so expect the unexpected. Are you laughing that I said Uranus?
Yeah, Mom thought you said she came in when you said plot twist, and she just whispered to me, did she say butt twist?
Butt twist, yes.
And then you said Uranus, so she really lost it on that one. She just really came apart. I was like, Mom, hold it together. We're recording. She's not a professional like us yet.
I know. She's... Mom, you're like...
She's an amateur.
Making the show not as seriously.
Yeah, like we're
making it as it should be.
Mom. Get it together.
All right, everybody shut the hell up.
Just get out.
Just Mom.
So...
Serious podcast.
Yeah, so expect the unexpected on Monday.
Okay, unexpected on Monday. Trauma today.
Yeah, astro event. Mars teams up with unpredictable Uranus. Unpredictable Uranus. Implications: sudden breakthroughs or setbacks.
Well, that's great. You go one of two ways.
It's a choose your own adventure kind of day.
Well, I just kind of feel like that's been this kind of year.
And get ready to pivot. Quick reflexes will save the day. So you're going to be dodging bullets maybe on day. That was not supposed to be a joke. That was just important. I'm going to add that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be
dodging balls,
dodging stuff. I'm just not going to use the word dodge. Just be prepared to pivot and go another way. Monday sounds like it's not going to go according to plan.
Right.
So.
That's great.
All right, and if that doesn't sound like a great start to the week, you have emotional wins. July 16th. So the moon will be in Scorpio and it opposes Mars Uranus. So hang on tight. Emotional highs and lows. So feelings could get bruised, especially for Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius.
So I'm good. But you and Amanda and Mom, and Dad, all of y'all.
And Bob.
And Bob, yeah.
Be extra considerate and maybe keep the tissues handy.
Well, shit.
Jeez, it better not be that bad. Come on. All right, but don't
worry. The last time Adele cried was the Elvis movie.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I gonna be sweating? Like, I have to dab my little sweats. Okay, last two days. We'll get through it. It starts to look up on the 17th. We have sunny spells of fun. Finally.
Is that on Saturday?
That is Thursday, I think.
Okay.
Or Wednesday. It's I don't know. I don't know when the
hell. So all of this has just happened in the next 48 hours.
It's Wednesday. Yeah, by Wednesday.
Oh.
We should start to ease into some fun, okay? So the moon will be in Sagittarius, and it's time for adventure and good vibes. Not these scary adventures, but good adventures.
I just want you to know, guys, that we're recording this on a Sunday. So I feel like the next 48 hours plus is going to be a hell of a ride.
It is. Things are going to be a bit chaotic the next 3 days. But it's okay. Just hang in there. Because Sagittarius moon forms a trine with Venus and Mercury in Leo. So we're here to save the day. So that means harmonious and adventurous energy. So it'll be perfect for a spontaneous road trip or something fun like that. And communication flows smoothly, and maybe you'll even call your mom.
Hey.
That's what it says. It said that, I didn't. So
we call our mom every day.
That's right, because it's the right thing to do.
That's right.
It's true.
Heard it here first.
And then finally, the 18th, Thursday, we have bright ideas with a chance of vulnerability. So Cancer Sun, sextile Uranus, and Taurus. So Eureka moments ahead.
Eureka!
You might have insightful breakthroughs, and some implications would be fresh perspectives and forward movement. Embrace the aha moment.
Well,
so
I'm ready.
Later in that day, the Sagittarius moon brushes awkwardly with Neptune. So try not to take things too personally. It's just the cosmos messing with you. And that's our week.
I'll try to remember that. Like Cosmos, stop.
You funny Cosmos.
Cosmos is a good name for a dog.
That's a good one.
Or a cat. Maybe a Cosmo.
A Cosmo.
Comet.
Yeah. So.
Thank you for that. I can't wait.
This is the week
ahead.
So I don't know. Maybe take the week off if you can.
I did take a day
What
off.
I'm hearing. Okay. Well,
maybe I should just say, you know what? I think I'm gonna take that whole week, if that's okay.
At least Monday through Wednesday. I would say just try to avoid people as much as possible.
Maybe I'll come back on Thursday and then head back out on Friday. I don't know. I'm gonna shop it, but I don't know. Not ready.
So it's gonna be a rough ride this week.
All right,
but it should end with a little bit of fun.
I'm gonna stay on my couch and watch Are You Afraid of the Dark and pretend like it's 1992.
Yeah,
that's my plan.
I mean, that's kind of how I live. I just live like it's 1992.
What do you mean? It's not 1992?
I mean, when did we leave it? Right?
Where the hell did this Game Boy Pocket come from?
Oh my gosh.
So yes, stay grounded. Keep an eye on the emotional forecast, and remember, every storm eventually gives way to sunshine.
Does it?
That was them trying to make us feel better about that.
Does it? And you can see the devastation. That's great.
So back to you.
I really think it's funny that you started a podcast about water because my story today involves water.
Okay.
Any ideas?
The ocean.
Well, no, like what I'm covering.
Oh, well, I thought you were just like talking about like how scary the ocean is. That's what I thought it was.
Well, do you have a guess or no?
A megalodon?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So I landed on cryptid, and I did an honorable mention last week to our friend Normie, aka Stormie Normie, that lives in Lake Norman in North Carolina. So I had this whole thing planned. I was telling Mom about this earlier. I was gonna cover the cryptids of summer, and I was gonna do like all these cryptids that are like seen in the summertime. But I started investigating Lake Norman, and shit, it's scary. There is so much scary stuff at Lake Norman. I decided just to cover Lake Norman.
Okay, let's do it.
It's crazy. So, because it is a cryptid, I'm gonna spend most of my time talking about Normie, but then I'm gonna do a little like, hey, there's some other stuff here. So I called the story. You ready, Mom?
Yep.
Normie isn't the only thing under Lake Norman.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ooh, okay.
You're supposed to be like, do the Midnight Society dust.
Oh,
Thank you. So I want to thank WCNCnews.com
Oh, nice.
and of course our friend of the pod, Chat GPT. We love it. So last week I was covering we've been trying to, up our social media game, and so on Fridays we like to do like fun things that you can do, and I discovered Stormie Normie through Spooky Charlotte because they actually do like Stormie Normie searches, and I'm like, who is Stormie Normie? Like, what is going on? So apparently Lake Norman, which is located north of here in North Carolina, has its own cryptid legend known as Normie. And he's basically like our local Loch Ness monster. So very large serpentine creature that inhabits the waters of Lake Norman. There have been reports of sightings through local visitors throughout the years. Some all pretty much say the same thing, that he's like this large snake-like creature with humps that emerges from the water. So very much on brand with Loch Ness and other sea creatures.
I don't remember hearing about this creature the whole time I lived there. I don't. That's odd. We've never heard of it.
I didn't even realize we had a cryptid in the water in our lakes. So I feel like a complete idiot. And I told Mom, I'm like, we should have gone and done some searching, because they do a lot of like fun little searches and stuff for Stormie Normie out there. So I'm like, that could be so fun. So apparently, Stormie Normie is really not something unusual. Like people that live around there, like he's just a part of the lore of the Lake Norman life. And several people through the years have claimed to see him. Some people have even said that his eyes glow. I don't know. And some boaters say that they've just seen like an enormous fin swim towards them, and they were like, I'm out of here. So one part of the story does remain the same though, and everybody says that this is a giant underwater creature and that he's been living under Lake Norman for decades. And national TV crews from all over have even come there to search for him, and he even has his own website, which I think is kind of funny. And
I thought you were going to plug the website.
I will. I'll plug the website on. Listen, since we do social, I'll plug it on there. But he also, like, it's kind of funny, like a lot of businesses and stuff use him like as their logo for merch. So I seriously had no idea like at all. So, but somebody says that he's about the size of a stretch limo. And he's snake-like. That's huge, yeah. That he's snake-like, has humps, and I'll get into like a fun encounter someone had with him. But you might want to be knowing the origin of Stormie Normie. So Lake Norman, and this is the origin of a lot of craziness. So Lake Norman was created as a man-made lake. So it was created in the 1960s as a part of a hydroelectric project by Duke Power Company, and it's the largest man-made lake in North Carolina. Now, some people say that they were doing some experiments.
Okay,
And
hang on though. This sounds a lot like, I think it's the same situation with a body of water near Skinwalker Ranch. Remember that had like suspiciously large snake-like things
yes,
surrounding? So I think it was also from a hydro kind of dam.
that's
That's
interesting.
weird. Okay.
It's very interesting. So some people, of course, are like Duke Powder was up to something, and they somehow created this monster and it got loose. Some say that and again, just Mom, just to clarify, you'd asked what it looks like. It's a serpentine creature that's very similar to Loch Ness. So the humps, large, snake kind of like. So people kind of tend to compare Normie to Nessie. So some even think that maybe it wasn't the dam or the man-made dam. They're like, well, maybe he was prehistoric, but other people are like, well, it was a man-made lake, so where did he come from before then? So they're kind of like, that kind of rules out that theory. But people like especially during the warmer months, people in the lake always supposedly have a run-in with Normie. And they, Lake Norman is a really huge lake. So there's not really like one particular place he tends to be. It tends to be like sporadic throughout the entire lake. So there's not like one certain spot that he tends to go to. So a lot of people, like the skeptics, think that it's just a large fish or some other aquatic animal,
like or something.
Or some people think it's just a floating log, and they're just mistaking it as a creature. Maybe, I don't know. But despite the skeptics, legend of Normie is a huge thing, and so people like really enjoy talking about the unexplained phenomenon and the theories and whatnot. So there's apparently you can get like souvenirs, t-shirts, and merchandise all over, which
who knew?
Never even seen it, so had no idea. And they even do a lot of fun things where like I said, like you can go out on like these searches for Stormie Normie. And I'm like, that just sounds like a really good time.
Yeah.
But one of the most popular theories is that that they really do think that this is just some kind of rare animal that possibly was created or had something to do with Duke Power. Like they created a monster and it got loose. So that's kind of the fun lore about it. But it's so funny because I really love an eyewitness account of things. So I have one here that was several years ago. His name is Gus Gustafsson. So right there, okay. I'm like, I have to put this in here. So Gus told the news that there were university biologists who got together and they were experimenting with genetically charging fish to allow them to grow big, but to be tasty. They chose a Wyoming buffalo carp and crossed it with an Arkansas blue catfish. And some believe one of those fish may have escaped into the lake and been growing endlessly ever since. So that's Gus's.
Okay. Well, oddly enough, I could believe it's a giant catfish.
But here's the
catfish that are big as the Volkswagen.
But something else to note. So before it was like Lake Norman, it was a part of the Catawba River. Holla. And so apparently legends of the same monster dates back to the time of the Catawba Indian tribe, and they also have records of something that they documented that looks an awful lot like Stormie Normie before Duke Powder was ever even there. So could it be a prehistoric giant leech-like creature that happened centuries before the legends of Normie, or do we think that it was some kind of scientific crazy thing, or do we think it's really just a log, it's a floating turd, it's the baby Ruth? Like, what do we think?
I think it's a really big something that's native to the area.
Yeah,
I really do think it could be like a huge catfish or something.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't. There aren't any like known like. It doesn't seem like Normie's hurt anyone.
I mean, the only other thing it really could be would be something that's like large and able to move across land. So it could be a gator.
Oh, that's scary.
I mean, right? Because if there wasn't water before, where else would it have come from? It would have had to walk across land to get to the water.
Well, it could have come from the Catawba.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think it was probably a really large natural something.
Animal. Mom, what do you think?
Well, now I have heard all my life that catfish in those reservoirs are just incredibly huge, and nobody really knows why they're that huge, except that those areas were not as populated back in the day as they are now. So a lot of catfish got to be old catfish, and they just keep growing. It's kind of like the what do you call it, y'all? The aquarium theory, or
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
the reservoir, the larger
Bigger the fish.
because they didn't have as many people hunting and looking at things, so more animals had the opportunity to grow larger. So maybe it's one of those old fish that have just never been caught because their size. They're bottom dwellers anyway, so they stay close to the bottom feed, right?
That's
Catfish aren't catfish.
It's just an old catfish.
It's just an old catfish named Gus.
But aren't those kind of fish bottom dwellers? Don't they?
Yeah.
I think we do.
They just eat all the garbage and trash. If we eat trash, we get fat. And so I reckon the catfish is the same thing. And I don't know what kind of waste has ever been put into those bodies of water. It could have been something that altered them, their growth pattern. But I've never in my life heard of anything bad happening from a serpentine critter.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any. Oh, well, I mean, I haven't even heard of Stormie Normie, but I don't recall of hearing any like attacks of
same
aquatic creatures in Lake Norman.
Yeah, same here.
If that's just a marketing ploy.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
It's fun.
It's fun little like local legends.
Now, I am on the camp where I would like to think, because I'm such a Stranger Things kind of gal, like they're experimenting and something got out. Like I think that theory is so fun.
Maybe it's a portal at the bottom.
It could. You don't know. I'm just saying. It could have been a scientific experiment gone wrong and one got out.
See, these are all making some wonderful horror movies.
Yeah, they are.
Right? But I just don't think it's...
I think before the summer's over, I want to get in on one of these Stormie Normie tours. Like, can you imagine going on a little boat tour out there looking for Stormie Normie? I think that would be so fun.
And if I was a marketing person, that sure would be a good way to keep my business.
Absolutely.
And it would be fun because I know there's no truth behind it, but I'm not taking
Or is there? I mean, Birdie's ready. Speaking of a catfish.
dogfish.
Well, so that's Stormie Normie, and then I had these other really cool cryptids, and then I started reading more about Lake Norman, and lo and behold, there is a ghost town beneath the water there in Lake Norman, which for some reason these next stories flip me out way more than Stormie Normie does. And you tell me if you feel the same way. So, like we said before, Lake Norman, man-made lake, huge man-made lake, and it wasn't created until the 60s by Duke Power Company. And so before the lake was created, the area was home to several small communities, like mill villages, right, which was like real popular during that time around here. So we had farms and other settlements, and basically Big Duke Power comes in, big corporate, and says, either you're gonna have to leave or we're damming this up and your stuff is gonna get flooded and you're not gonna have a place to live. End of story. Well, a lot of these people can't afford to leave, and so they basically were displaced because the lake submerged their homes, and they're still there. The villages are still there at the very bottom of Lake Norman.
Ooh, that's creepy. But that's also getting into like my thalassophobia. And then there's like this whole new thing called like submechanophobia, where it's like mechanical objects underwater, and I'm like, I didn't even know I had a fear like that. Like, yeah, I hate if there's anything that's already creepy like a ghost town, the instant way to make it creepier is put it underwater.
Yep, I agree. Well, and it's so crazy because I gave a huge shout out last week, and this reminds me of this too. If you're looking for a good show to watch this summer, Dark Matter is amazing. It's on Apple, and it deals with, how we love to talk about theories like, multiverse theories and things like that. But there's a scene in this show where they open a door and like this water comes rushing in and they start drowning, and they're trying to like shut the door while like they're still underwater. I texted mom and Adele. I was like, I'm seriously having a panic attack right now because I just felt like it was all crushing in on me, or like it just, I don't know, it just it just drowning and that sort of thing just like creeps me out like big time.
Water is powerful.
Oh yeah, like it just makes me feel like, so just thinking about like imagine like the home you live in now, like there's your post office or whatever, your little village, and it's now underwater. Like I don't know why that creeps me out.
Yeah, it's very
really
creepy.
It just creeps me out. It just makes me feel
I guess
like,
it's like if something is permanent, it's like a huge structure can just be wiped away. Well, not even wiped away.
not even wiped away.
Really
It still exists. It's just
buried
not
underwater. It's just scary.
Titanic,
Yeah.
when they show pictures of what they found at the Titanic, in my mind I could hear wonderful music, and I just picture all those people there. It's like just your life being submerged, and I think that's just so creepy.
So creepy.
Can you imagine looking out your kitchen window and all of a sudden tidal wave?
Oh.
Watched out when that big tidal wave came and they took New York down.
Makes me not want to. I can't breathe.
Holy cow! Can you just imagine your whole livelihood, everything just underwater?
Does anybody need to breathe in a bag real quick?
Oh, Lord.
So here's a note about this community. So it actually was built in the 1800s, and so it was called the Long Island Mill, and the Mill Village were actually built in the 1800s, and they were owned by Superior Yarn Mills. And in the 1950, the mill was closed due to the formation of Lake Norman. So you got major job loss, because you're thinking in the 1950s around here, how many people that employed that no longer had jobs. And then a lot of times, like with the mill villages, kind of like where we grew up in Fort Mill, you've got the mill and you have the homes and like these whole communities. And they, Duke Power just comes in and it's like, well, we're damming it up. So later, and you just think about all these people that were displaced and how this community is still there, like under, like it's there intact. Like you could, like divers can go down and see this village just as it was. And I'm like, I had no idea of that.
Yeah.
But it said that some of the homes were moved, but many were demolished, and also, most of them were, beneath the water. So according to a local real estate website, only a few of its taller buildings were demolished because of the risk they had with like boats traveling, that they knew they were going to be traveling on the river. And so there are a few that stand alone, like graves, and as well as like entire cemeteries. Like they were able to relocate the cemeteries, which that was good. But it's just sad how like everything was just completely destroyed. But just so you know, like the creation of Lake Norman, it was created between 1959 and 64, and they dammed up the Catawba River, which we're familiar with. Catawba River's right here in Rock Hill, and so they dammed it up to generate this hydroelectric power. And sadly enough, so many were displaced. So you had just residents, farms, businesses, entire communities that had been settled since the 18th and 19th centuries completely displaced for the creation of this. So kind of, I don't know. It just, I don't like it.
It's like Atlantis, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it really does. It's just very, very creepy. But there have been several diving and research teams, and like I said, like they can go under and like literally see the remnants of these communities. And I'm like, I can't imagine seeing it. Like that just makes me just I don't know. I don't like it. So, but yeah, it's still there. And if that's not all that's under there, Adele and listeners, there's also a historic Revolutionary War battlefield under there as well. So we've got Stormie Normie, we got a cryptid check, we have a mill village check, we have a battlefield check. Okay. Like Lake Norman is just not okay, guys. So here's a fun one for you. The Battle of Cohen's Ford took place on February 1st, 1781, during the American Revolutionary War. And it was a part of the Southern Campaign where British forces under General Lord Cornwallis were attempting to suppress the American Revolution in the southern colonies. So this happened at Cohen's Ford, which was on the Catawba River, and it was a critical crossing point for the troops moving through the region. And they have all of like this huge war happened here, and all of its surroundings are pretty much now also under Lake Norman whenever they dammed it up. And so yeah, that's pretty crazy. The American soldiers lost their militia commander, General William Lee Davidson, in that battle. And if you're from around the Carolinas, you're familiar with Davidson County or Davidson College. That's who that's named after. And he lost his life there on that battlefield, which is now underneath Lake Norman.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
And that's not all.
Ah.
It just gets better.
Lake Norman airplane crash.
Oh boy.
So, not everything beneath the surface of Lake Norman submerged, it says. So, in 1964, a decade after the creation of the lake, a plane sank that summer 10 years later. So, 1974, a plane sank. And the plane was never discovered. And it wasn't discovered until 2013 when the Charlotte Fire Department had a dive team that was there doing practice drills, and they found the plane on their sonar equipment. It had been there since 1974, and they were able to find it. The plane was about 90 feet below the surface and not visible. And one family said the plane could possibly be theirs. They recalled a tale of their own plane sinking in the 70s on Lake Norman, but I don't know the details. Like maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. You would think they could.
Yeah.
And also in more recent years, a car was also submerged in the lake with human remains inside. The vehicle belonged to a woman who had been missing for 15 years. The fishermen using a sonar on their boat discovered the car underwater and tipped off law enforcement. So yeah, so it's insane. And that's not all.
Oh boy.
There's submerged bridges too.
Why?
Can you see why I was like, I have to stop with the cryptids? Because I can't even believe all of this is in this lake. So there are also remnants of old bridges that once spanned various waterways and road crossings in the region before the lake was created. So we have like these pre-lake bridges right before the construction of Lake Norman. And so they were like, well, we're going to dam it up. It'll probably go over the bridge anyway. Let's just leave it intact and just fill it up. And so there's lake bridges. There's also road bridges. Like many of the bridges were parts of the road that carried local, like would carry you through like local highways across rivers and streams, and they're now underneath. And then there are also railroad bridges that have been found underneath Lake Norman. So it kind of tells you how deep Lake Norman is, that it's a railroad bridge, which are typically very high or submerged under this lake. It's just, I don't know. It really, it's just crazy. Again, divers say that to explore the lake bed there and it's like to see bridges and like to study their structures is just mind-blowing. Because like they're going underwater and they're seeing things that you're so used to seeing on land, and that just has to be.
That'd be
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't like it either.
The heebie-jeebies.
I hate the story so much.
Even just seeing floods as they're happening, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't even like being partially submerged. Like, I hate it.
And it's like, these divers and like preservation efforts they've tried to make some sort of preservation effort just to, maybe take pictures of what they see underneath there so that they could really understand bridges and how things worked or how they must have looked. But I feel like the cultural impact is Big business, man. I mean, they do not care like what kind of life you've had, or they don't care about the history that's there. They're just going to dam it up. And that's exactly what they've done with Lake Norman. And it's just, I had no idea that any of this existed. And like I said, like, it's literally right down the interstate from us. And I had no idea literally a whole world exists under that lake.
I
Very.
just think it's kind of like a microcosm of how creepy it is anyway, with how much like the sea shifts over hundreds of thousands of years, you know what I mean? Like where I am used to be under the ocean.
Yeah.
It's a desert. Like
It's
that's just
crazy.
weird. It's just
And they don't
really,
even have
really
those dinosaur bones.
disturbing to me.
It's very disturbing. And I just yeah, I pulled up Stormie Normie and I just had this really funny like idea, and then I started reading more and I'm like, what is happening under Lake Norman?
Yeah.
So
I wonder if
um
anybody, maybe you guys should try it. Go magnet fishing, see what you can pull out of there.
well, let me tell you what mom wouldn't let me do today. I'm
Oh,
gonna tell you, Mom. I'm gonna tell you. So we went to like one of our favorite places to go, Sleepy Poet, of course, which is like if you've never been, shout out Sleepy Poet. It's this awesome antique mall, so fun. I found a Ouija board. I was like, Mom, let's get it. And I'm thinking we could have gone out on a boat on Lake Norman, just like
yeah.
and just had us a little chat.
No.
And Mom was not gonna have it. She wouldn't even let me touch it.
That's a witch board. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as we don't open the portal in my house, I'm fine.
If you're the one opening the portal,
But
it's
we'll
you.
close. We know how to do
See,
that properly.
but
this is
We'll
a
say goodbye.
synchronicity because I literally wrote in my notes of like fun stuff to try. I was like, we should do a Ouija board experiment where we do it blindfolded though,
Yeah,
and then
And have
watch the
somebody.
playback to see what if anything makes sense at all.
Oh,
Yeah, but spirits attached to people who are
but I thought like,
naive.
well, we're
We're
professionals.
not naive. We're professionals.
Yeah.
You're gonna take a witch board out and like Norman.
Yes.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yes.
Oh, we'll be in a salt circle.
Who are those other people that we laugh at all the time? That Zach, maybe. Y'all
Listen.
just team up with him and let them do the Ouija board, and y'all just film it.
I mean, well, we could if
that
we
way
would get
something
invited.
bad
If we would
attaches
get
to
an
them.
invite, we'd be more than happy to. Zach, you listening?
We know Zach would do it.
Zach would do it. Zach would go diving while we were opening up the portal.
He would go swim to one of those people's houses and do a seance in their house underwater.
Oh
Yeah, he would. He would one up it big time. Like we were just gonna stay on the boat.
We're gonna have the first ever underwater seance.
Oh,
There you
TM.
go.
Zach,
There
if
you
you
go.
do that, we want some credit. TM.
Come on, dude. Yeah.
Starting here first.
Like, come on, you heard it here first.
The Stormy Willow
We're cool
idea.
with you doing it.
Totally
we
fine.
need
I'm not
credit.
getting my ass in any water.
We would just like some
don't
credit.
worry.
We would just like some credit.
I am so fine with being on the boat watching like remotely though.
That's
That would be
fine.
totally cool.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, Mom just like she's like, put it back, don't even touch it.
Don't even.
So you went back and bought it when she wasn't looking.
I actually have it in my car. No, I'm kidding. Don't.
Happy birthday!
Mom would not keep her eyes off of me. She's like, you can get the curlers, but you cannot. You can get the spiral. You can get the bendy spiral curlers in the 80s, but you cannot get that board.
Cannot get that.
She's
Ouija
like,
board.
you can't have
I
that.
wanted it.
And I
I
never went-
wanted it. It was $10,
Oh my god, that's such a steal.
right?
How expensive those things are that aren't like the Mattel ones.
I know.
$10 for your soul. That's what you're saying. No.
Mom, and she didn't even call it that. She was like, you're not touching that witch board.
Which board?
I was like, oh, yeah, I want it. I know. I tried, Adele. I tried. It was going to be a part of my whole episode. We were going to do it together, but Mom said no.
my goodness.
I'm like, we'll close the portal. We know.
We're not even open anything. We're literally like, it's the equivalent of going into like a chat room and we're just saying, what's up?
How you doing?
We're just going, sup. That's all.
No,
Just
I would
everybody
go to the
replies.
chat room and invite somebody to come to dinner. Say no, you can't be doing that.
I tried, Breed.
Yeah, we're
I
not
tried.
like giving out personal information online. And
We're
this
playing safe.
A Ouija board don't need any personal information. They have it when they come through that portal. Just don't.
But we know how to say goodbye.
yeah, I have to say goodbye.
But I just thought that would be so fun to do one of those out on Lake Norman. I'm just going to say that. That would be really
Yeah.
cool. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of things I feel like that could come through, but it's just so haunted. Like I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky.
Pretty sad too.
It is sad, and I think it's
It's
the
just
historical
like,
significance of how sad that is that people are just so like displaced. Like later,
yeah,
we're
like
damming this up.
eminent domain.
Beaver,
That's what they call it.
Beaver get flooded. I mean, ouch.
Yeah,
But I know,
just
a lot of our brood is in the Carolinas, so I'm wondering, have you guys been out on Lake Norman and experienced any sightings of a cryptid, or maybe just an eerie feeling in general,
Did you even know they
or
were there?
did you even know that any of us existed while you were enjoying your time on the lake? Does it make
would
make
you
wonder
want
about
to see us
anything?
do a spirit board session on the lake?
Yeah,
With Zach Bagans,
with Sandra Gillis.
I'd go. I'll
Yeah,
go.
what if you're there with your little rosary so we're safe?
Hey, now listen
We
here.
do it.
I'd do it with y'all. I'd take care of you. I'd take
But
the
then
fall.
you're gonna your way of protecting us though is to not let us interact with it.
That's right. I'd take the fall for you.
She would throw it in the lake.
She catch on fire.
Damn.
Bloop, bloop. Where's the
Like-
leech?
Oh no, Mom.
Now we have to go in and get it.
Now,
That's in the water,
now it's
baby.
at the bottom. It's one other thing at the
One
bottom
more
of
thing.
Lake Norman.
And that
Well,
really
that's-
does open a portal in the
That
lake.
really, Mom's the one. This one's the one that really opened the portal. She just threw the thing
Legend
overboard.
with Sandra Gillis and
Skadoosh. Now there's a curse on Lake
No,
Norman.
now it's like when the Puff Marshmallow Band, like, in,
Oh
in
yeah, and Ghostbusters.
but it's like Stormie Normie, like it's bigger, it takes over the Carolinas.
That would be kind of awesome.
It's like, way to go, Mom.
or taking the Carolinas by storm.
Ha 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 ha. I like
Ah.
that. I like that. That's good. You're clever. You
I
redeemed
am.
you redeemed yourself.
Being such a square L7 weenie over here.
L7 weenie.
Mom's like, put that witch, don't touch that witch
Touch a
board.
witch board.
She said it just like that too.
Make some hate.
Like, that's a witch board. I was like, jeez. I'm like, it's $10. I was so excited. Like, I found a deal.
Did it have the planchette too?
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't. It's fraction.
The planchette
It was
alone.
not, unless you went back and looked at it, it
I'm
was
just saying it
not.
was because I didn't want to get it.
I know. I was like, you won't even go near it. You were like,
Just saying you can use a cup too. So you don't
You could
have to
just
have the
make our
planchette.
own. out of-
expecting spirits gonna come to
a lot. We could just make our own actually out of letters and a cup.
Yeah. Because it's all in
Can't
your
stop
mind.
me. You
That's
can't
like
stop me.
Candyman. You know, don't say it 3 times, but that's the same.
You just
thing.
opened a portal here.
No,
You just
Unbelievable.
did- Were you gonna say
Unbelievable.
Beetlejuice
You
3
do
times now?
Beetlejuice too?
Honestly, Beetlejuice came from Candyman.
You already said it once. You can go for 2 more.
I mean, and then she's gonna leave me by myself.
honestly, you see how
Seriously.
Unbelievable.
I am going to
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Well, let's
Well, that-
what are we doing for next?
Let's see. Shall we spin
Oh, we're taking a
the
spin.
wheel?
We are taking a spin on the Stormie Willow Wheel.
Here we go.
And
Oh, it
presenter's
oh.
choice. Is that-
presenter's choice. I almost landed on Travis though.
You almost landed on a Travis. I'll tell you who's being a Travis.
Travis Steve.
That one back there.
One back there.
Travis Steve, this one up here.
Wow, I didn't get my witch board and I got called a travesty.
If
Oh,
you had
my
gotten a
thing.
which board, it would be a travesty.
It would have
I'm
been
just
so
saying.
fun. It would have been so
I have your dad
fun.
over here with Sage and dream catchers.
It would have been a great time.
We would have been fine
It would
in
have
our
been fun.
soft circle.
Yeah.
I'm saying it wouldn't. Just talking about it's making me itch.
I know she's a nervous wreck over here. Like she's sweating, itching.
Making me itch all over.
But maybe you're possessed.
Oh, no.
That's what happens, you see.
Oh my goodness. Well, Adele, thank you for our forecast and our funny news. If you're out on the water, don't take naps.
Or do a seance or anything fun.
Yeah.
Stay
Oh,
on the beach covered in sunscreen.
that's right.
Don't have a seance.
And don't take a nap. Don't have a seance.
Sleep on the water. You can't have a seance on the water.
What a stick in the mud.
These sunglasses you got me for my birthday were meant to have a seance on the beach.
They really were.
They're
They
makes
do-
it cool when you
They
got-
do say seance on the beach to me.
They say like Nancy from The Craft, we're gonna have a seance
Yeah.
on the beach, and I'm gonna get gifts of sharks. No, I'm just kidding.
No way. Land shark.
We could all sit in our colorful floaties and play our little.
What do they call them? Floaty holes?
What do they call them?
Floaty
Floaty
rings.
floaty rings.
I said floaty holes.
Floaty holes.
Float.
That's another cryptid we'll cover next time.
That's a whole nother cryptid. Guys, thank you for tuning in. As we like to say on this podcast, stay safe out there.
Stay creepy. No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe. Stay curious.
Stay away from me before.
And never trust
None
the
say.
water. Or what lurks beneath.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, you guys.
Later, taters.